Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're dissecting the anatomy of the Table Striker EA, breaking down exactly how this automated MetaTrader 5 GBPUSD robot actually works. We're going straight to the source data and the core mechanics to understand what is truly happening under the hood.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the manual trap, then the 4-layer engine, followed by the 5-step cycle, and finally, protecting your capital.
All right, Section 1, the manual trap, emotion versus logic. Let's talk about the human element of trading, which, let's face it, is often our absolute biggest vulnerability in the markets.
Are you tired of just watching charts for hours on end? Because we've literally all been there, right? You stare at the screen, waiting for a setup, and then the exact second you look away to check your phone, boom, you miss the entry. Or worse, you end up sleeping right through those massive GBP/USD moves during the highly volatile London and New York sessions. Honestly, the manual approach is just exhausting.
And the contrast is pretty staggering. As human traders, we're dealing with fear, FOMO, and, the sheer biological need to actually sleep. But the Cable Striker EA, it's a tireless, emotionless machine. We're talking 24/5 scanning, checking the market systematically every 5 minutes, with absolutely zero hesitation.
Moving on to Section 2, the 4-layer engine, the brain of the EA. Let's pop the hood and see exactly how this system ruthlessly filters out the bad trades.
So, the source data shows us that this EA actually trades less but better, and it does this by demanding strict confluence across 4 independent layers all at the same time. We've got the EMA trend anchor, the EMA slope confirmation, the RSI momentum zone, and the stochastic crossover trigger. If all 4 don't scream go, absolutely nothing happens. Let's break these down.
First up is the EMA 100 trend anchor. This is what identifies the dominant market direction. The EA literally has a hard-coded rule. It only buys above the EMA 100, and it only sells below it. This is huge because it prevents the single most costly mistake in retail trading, which is fighting the trend. By doing this, you're immediately placed on the right side of the market's momentum.
But, it's not enough to just be above that 100 EMA. Enter the second layer, the EMA slope confirmation. The fast EMAs, the 20 and the 50, must be correctly aligned and actively sloping in the exact right direction. This is what ensures your short-term momentum precisely matches that long-term trend.
Third, we have the RSI momentum zone, which really acts as a critical safeguard. It ensures the RSI is in the correct zone to avoid buying in overbought conditions or selling in oversold ones. Basically, it filters out entries on exhausted, overstretched market moves that are just about to reverse, so you don't accidentally buy at the very top or sell at the absolute bottom.
And finally, the ultimate trigger is the stochastic crossover. This is your precise entry timing signal, where the %K line must cross the %D line right in the trade direction. And here's the kicker. If this crossing doesn't happen at the exact millisecond all the other layers are confirmed, there's absolutely no trade. It literally requires absolute perfection. All right, Section 3, the 5-step cycle. Milliseconds of action. So how does this strict 4-layer logic actually translate into continuous automatic action on your account?
Well, here is the continuous loop that happens every 5 minutes. Step 1, the EA scans the market exactly as the 5-minute candle closes. Step 2, it analyzes those 4 layers we just talked about in literal milliseconds. Step 3, it confirms full confluence. Step 4, it executes instantly using ATR. And Step 5, it immediately applies protection protocols. It does this over and over, all day long.
Which brings us to Section 4, protecting your capital and defending the account. Because getting into a trade safely, well, that's really only half the battle. How the robot manages risk is what truly separates professional systems from amateur ones.
Think about the difference here. An amateur EA usually relies on a rigid, fixed stop loss, say 15 pips, that just gets taken out by normal daily market noise. But the Cable Striker, it uses an ATR, or Average True Range Dynamic Risk System. This means it constantly adapts your stop loss and take profit based on real-time market volatility. So on quiet days, it tightens up, but on wild, volatile days, it actually gives the trade enough room to breathe.
Take Kwame, an actual user over in Accra, Ghana. He says, every time I trade manually, I always let winners turn into losers. This robot does not have that problem. It locks profit and moves on. I love this because it perfectly highlights the exact psychological pain point that the EA's very next feature completely eliminates.
And that game-changing feature is the automatic break-even lock. The very moment a trade moves into sufficient profit, the stop-loss automatically moves right to your entry price. Think about what that actually means. It structurally guarantees that a winning trade literally cannot lose money. It takes all the stress completely out of the equation.
But the EA doesn't just stop there. It layers on some serious extra armor. It uses a trailing stop to secure your profit, literally pip by pip. It features a specific session filter, so it only trades during peak liquidity in London and New York. It even has a spread protection filter to avoid bad broker pricing. And honestly, the most important part? It only takes one trade at a time. No dangerous compounding exposure during unexpected market shocks.
At the end of the day, everything we've just gone through makes this entire system 100% automatic. That means zero manual intervention from you, zero missed setups when you need to step away from the screen, and absolutely zero emotional sabotage causing you to exit a trade way too early or hold on to a loser way too long.
So I want to leave you with this final, stark choice between manual chaos and automated discipline. Now that you know exactly how the 4-layer Confluence engine filters out the noise and how the 5-step cycle and dynamic ATR actively protect your capital, do you want a systematic, emotionless robot working for you around the clock or not? That's the big question you have to ask yourself today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it helped you completely understand the mechanics working under the hood of the Cable Striker EA.